You remember the playground rituals, the thrill of trading cards, the hum of your Game Boy, a world built for wonder. But behind every familiar name and smiling monster, there is a pulse most of us never felt. Stories of war, loss, and spirits that refuse to rest. The most beloved creatures wear the bones of their dead, and whole towns are shadowed by grief. What if the comforts of childhood were always haunted? The truth hides just beneath nostalgia, waiting to be seen. You remember the playground, not as a single place, but as 1,000 little worlds, each one stitched together by rumors, trades, and the bright green glow of a Game Boy screen under the sun. At recess, the crowd would gather around a single link cable, 2 kids locked in battle while the rest of us watched, breath held, as digital monsters clashed pixel by pixel. The rules were simple, but sacred. Winner keeps bragging rights. Loser plots a comeback. Sometimes a rare card would change hands with a handshake and a silent promise. Sometimes the trade was a test of trust, a holographic Charizard for a stack of hopefuls, the deal sealed with nothing more than a nod. In those years, Pokémon wasn't just a game, it was a language we all spoke, even if we never met outside the blacktop. The Game Boy, with its plastic shell and green-tinted screen, sold over 100 million units, a tiny window into a world where you could be anyone, catch anything, win or lose, and start again. The link cable, that skinny gray thread, turned solitary play into a ritual. It was proof that something invisible could connect us all, at least for the length of a lunch break. We built our own legends, one card, one battle at a time. In those moments, the world felt safe. The monsters were ours to command, the rules were ours to bend, and every story ended with the bell and the promise of tomorrow. Satoshi Tajiri didn't set out to create a safe world. As a boy in Machida, he hunted beetles in fields that vanished year by year, replaced by concrete and train tracks. He once described those lost summers as his real education, days spent cataloging wings and shells, trading specimens with friends, always searching for something rare. When the fields disappeared, Tajiri's world shrank to apartment blocks and vending machines. The urge to collect, to rescue something wild before it was gone, never left him. That's the feeling he tried to capture inside a Game Boy cartridge, a world where every child could roam, catch, and remember what had been erased. But even in this digital sanctuary, grief found a way in. Open the original Pokédex, and the truth stares back through a pixelated mask. Cubone. It wears the skull of its dead mother. Its cries echo inside the bone helmet. No euphemism, no softening. Just a small, lonely creature, haunted by loss, wearing its mourning like armor. It's not a glitch or a rumor. The line is there in black and white, as much a part of the canon as Pikachu's Thunderbolt or the shape of a Pokeball. For every playground legend, there's a shadow built into the code. Tajiri's dream was never just about catching them all. It was about holding on to something fragile, even if it meant facing the things we'd rather forget. The darkness wasn't hidden. It was right there, waiting for us to notice. Monsters reflect the anxieties and hopes of their age. In Japan, even ancient mirrors were said to hold spirits, blurring the line between object and omen. Pokémon's world is crowded with these echoes. Ghastly, a drifting orb of mist and menace, is more than a cartoon ghost. It is the Onibi, a will-o'-the-wisp from Edo period prints, violet flames with hungry eyes that haunted travelers and tested the living. Ghastly's haze and gaze match those old woodblock spirits, its presence a digital echo of riddles whispered beyond the firelight. 9 tails, with 9 golden tails and a watchful stare, steps out of Kitsune folklore. The fox spirit, a shapeshifter and trickster, flickers through ukiyo-e prints, tails glowing like lanterns. Kitsune could bless or curse, protect or deceive. 9 Tails inherits the legend, living 1,000 years, holding grudges for centuries, blurring the line between companion and supernatural force. The boundary between pet and phantom thins, leaving trainers unsure who is truly in control. Charizard's silhouette, wings outstretched and tail ablaze, recalls another icon, Godzilla. Those jagged dorsal spines are a direct visual echo of Godzilla's first appearance in 1954, a monster born from nuclear fire and the shadow of the bomb. Godzilla was never just a beast. He was a warning, a scar across the city. Charizard softens that terror, but the memory lingers in its posture and power. Each creature carries fragments of older fears and stories. They are not just inventions, but conduits, spirits and monsters, carrying warnings and wishes from one generation to the next. The Game Boy's tiny speaker was never built for chills, but Lavender Town made it happen anyway. The track starts with a hollow, high-pitched melody, thin, almost metallic, threading through the static. At the edge of hearing, the tune seems to flicker in and out, as if something is trying to break through the hardware's limits. The main melody peaks around 3,000 hertz, right where the human ear starts to ache, especially for children hunched over their screens in the dark. There is no secret frequency, no hidden message in the code, just a pattern of notes that, together, feel wrong in a way you cannot explain. Still, the rumors grew. By the early 2000s, the myth of Lavender Town Syndrome was everywhere, an urban legend born on Japanese message boards, then carried across the world by English-speaking forums and creepypasta sites. The story went viral. Children in Japan in 1996 were driven to headaches, nightmares, and even suicide by the music's eerie tones. No records, no evidence, only whispers and doctored audio files passed from one forum to another. The myth stuck because it felt possible, because so many of us remember pausing, just for a moment, when that music started. People began to run the track through audio spectrograms, searching for faces in the noise, secret words in the static. Every click, every hiss became a sign. The truth is, we made Lavender Town haunted. The game gave us a ghost story, but it was the players who turned it into a legend. If you ever find yourself reaching for the volume or searching for that old track online late at night, do not worry. You are not alone. If you want to keep chasing the shadows with us, you know what to do. December 16th, 1997. The screen flickered. Red, blue, 12 times a second. In living rooms across Japan, children collapsed in front of the TV. Convulsions, vomiting, eyes rolling back. That night, ambulances raced through city streets and hospital wards filled with nearly 700 kids, all struck down by a cartoon. The culprit was a single episode of Pokémon, Den-o Senshi Porygon, a rapid-fire explosion of strobing lights that triggered mass photosensitive seizures. By dawn, the story was everywhere. Front-page headlines, emergency bulletins, parents demanding answers. Nintendo and TV Tokyo moved fast. The episode vanished, locked away, never broadcast again. Executives drafted new rules overnight. No more high-frequency flashes, no more visual risks. Animators were ordered to cap flashes at 3 per second, far below the 12 that brought down a nation's children. Games and shows worldwide adopted the same restrictions. The message was clear. Nothing, not even a beloved franchise, would come before safety. Brand guardianship became a corporate shield, and from that moment, every frame, every pixel was subject to scrutiny. The world of Pokémon, once haunted by ghosts and rumors, now answered to a new kind of power, the cold logic of risk management. Even after the warnings, after the edits and the careful translations, something restless kept moving beneath the surface. For most of us, now adults, eyes half closed in the blue glow of a late-night screen, Pokémon still feels like a safe place to wander. Surveys circle the same truth. Nearly everyone who grew up with the games remembers them with warmth, but more than half admit to flashes of unease. Lavender Town's music, Cubone's mask, the empty houses on the edge of the map, those moments stuck, even as the rest faded into nostalgia. But the story did not end with the official canon. Fans, now old enough to code and create, started digging up what was buried. ROM hacks twisted the familiar world into something stranger. Pokémon Black, Lost Silver, Creepy Black were games where the ghosts finally speak, where the rules break down and the shadows get a name. Online, creepypasta forums filled with stories of haunted cartridges and glitched-out trainers, each one a new legend stitched onto the old fabric. We grew up, but we never stopped searching for what was missing. The monsters became our own, remixed and reclaimed in the dark corners of the internet. Maybe that is the real afterimage, a generation that learned to find comfort in the uncanny, to make peace with the things that would not stay buried. Even now, beneath every bright screen and trading card, the shadows stir, echoes of old fears that refuse to stay buried. We chase monsters to escape them or to understand them. The true haunt is how much of ourselves we find in the darkness we once called play. Subscribe for more childhood shadows. Tell us, what story should we unmask next?